have consumed our products many times in your life.
Sure, sure.
So I'll tell you how. So the softie and dessert that you have at McDonald's,
Yeah.
that is our product.
Okay. Okay.
And whatever shakes, softie and dessert at Burger King, again, that is our product.
Okay. So I think we shall leave this further details for participants or audience to enjoy. So let's not prejudge it or preempt it.
Yeah, so
Natasha, you may check whether Ravi is comfortable joining in, and how many do we have now out of all the contestants?
Hi, Piyush.
Hello, hello, sir.
Hello, how are you, Piyush?
Good.
I'm Nand Kumar. I just joined. I'm actually driving for an appointment.
Yeah.
I'm in Milan, so it's like 2:35 here, but I have an appointment in 20 minutes. But so as long as I can be there, I will be here. No problem.
Be safe, Nand Kumar.
No, don't worry. It's like
I think it is a risky proposition.
I'm not holding the phone, so it's okay. Yeah.
I think it is a risky proposition, which is against law, I would say, referring to your mobile.
No, yeah, I know. Like only thing is I can obviously switch off the video. It's on the car phone. You know, I'm not using the mobile phone. I'm using the car phone. So it
but
should be okay.
you tend to get, whatever the case be, you tend to get distracted.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Aren't you joining for the soapbox?
So,
but in this country, it's allowed hands free.
I am already live.
Where are you? You said.
I'm in Milan, in Italy.
Okay. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
oh, that's a wonderful place. Then you should be enjoying the surrounding.
Yes. Indeed.
Okay, so it shows 18 of us are there.
16.
Yes. Yeah,
16.
we are 18. Some are hosts, of course.
So it is past 6. So by
I think Kalpen is just confirming with the last contestant for whom we are waiting. It's Narinder K. Madan, and let's just wait for the confirmation, and we can begin.
Yeah, sure.
Vivekji, but all your things are colored. They don't have milk thing, bottles. None of them have a white background. I was intrigued. So flavored as are.
Yes, this is my product collage.
Hello,
so
Natasha.
The bottle you see is
yes.
Yeah, I just checked with Narinder. I think he will join in another 5 minutes or so. But he has said that we can go ahead with the next participant. So maybe Ravi can start the session.
Okay, sure.
So what are the products, Vivek? Sorry, these are Rasna kind of products.
Sorry.
These are Rasna kind of products.
Hello, contestants. I have a request. Now we are already live, and you are being heard. So be careful. First of all. Second, we are going to start the formal session. So Natasha will now take charge and will request everyone to put yourself on mute except for the speaker. Yeah. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you, Kalpen. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first live soapbox for IIT Delhi Alumni Elections 2021. My name is Natasha. I am IIT Delhi Alumni BTech batch of 2015. I'm currently working as manager in Quantitative Services Bank of America. I'm an EC member and convener of the subcommittee for virtual meetings and private networks. Beginning with today's event, I would request our president, Mr. Ravinder Kumar, to please give the welcome address.
Yeah. Thank you, Natasha. I will go off video because I'm in the hospital. So I think it's better I just go offline as per the video is concerned. So I'll just speak. Thanks, Natasha, for giving this wonderful introduction, setting the tone for our first soapbox for IIT Delhi Alumni Association Executive Committee election 21-24. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome all the my fellow alums who are contesting for the 7th post, and this is a great occasion, and we have planned around 4 soapbox, but because of the there was a sudden, because of my health issue, we are not planned we could not execute as we planned, but leaving that aside, we are all items and we know how to take the things from where we get. So see, the executive committee plays a very big role as far IIT Delhi Alumni Association is concerned, because they are elected through general body, and in turn they sorry, can you wait? Yeah, 1 minute.
Okay.
Sorry, I think I'm in a hospital, so I think I have to just conclude because so I just leave to Natasha. You take my best wishes to all the contestants. So many things to learn. Everybody is following the proper protocol. We had devised a lot of election protocol, but we left for individual to work as per the consciousness. And we should avoid the spamming, and we should, as IITian, I always believe that we should project to the society, to the world as a people of bunch of intellectual coming together to address some global issue or human issue involved the humanity. So with this, I give to Natasha. So Natasha, please you take forward, because I cannot speak much. I am right now in the hospital, and staff is with me.
Thank you so much, Ravi sir. Thank you so
because
much
the
to
health
be here
workers are
despite
there.
your health issues.
No, they are pricking needles also. When I was talking between needle.
All right, take care.
And hospital, I'm not sure should show the hospital also when I am in hospital. So please excuse me for that. So
I think you should
but
rest.
so
Thank
I leave up to you. You
Speedy
please
recovery.
carry on. This is only but just for sake of formality. I just my speech is not meant to interpret your proceedings. It's just I welcome on behalf of IIT Delhi Alumni Association. Now Mr. Kalpen Shukla, who is the president elect, he can chair the session, rest of the session, and I'll be there where my health permits. I'll also join, and if required, I'll also ask questions. And over to Natasha. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ravi sir, for being here despite your health, and I wish you fast recovery. Beginning with the session now, I would like to welcome our first contestant, who is the senior most nominee as well, Mr. Narendra K. Madan, who is BTech batch 1975.
Yeah, good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to join you all. The results are still awaited. I don't know whether I'm in or not. Yeah, but I have been earlier a member of EC about a decade back. My experience was, of course, on those days we were not so well connected as we are today, and most of the activities in those days was concentrated in Delhi for the Delhiites. Yeah. I'm very happy to note now that the technology has helped us in connecting all our global alumni here, and we are in a much better position today to really take things to the next level. There are lots of ideas, but it's difficult to say everything now. Maybe when we all are together, there'll be still some more time and we'll think it over what we want to do. But certainly I'm very keen that the chapters must be strengthened, because 95% of the alumnus are not staying in Delhi. Earlier, what used to happen is for those 5% who were in Delhi, all activities were organized, whereas the chapters were concerned, they were just treated as an annex, but not taken care of here. I was responsible for drafting the chapter policy at that time also, but because I was stationed in Mumbai, I couldn't attend the last session. and it was not accepted because the Delhiite had said that since I'm not there, this draft cannot be discussed and accepted. Yeah. I hope with this new technology, we'll be able to do a lot more for the alumnus spread across the globe. That's all I have to say at the moment. Yeah. Whenever we get elected, we'll take it further from there. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Narendra sir.
Natasha, can I just interrupt for a couple of minutes?
Sure, sure, sir.
Oh, so sorry for this small interruption, but I thought I'll set the tone for all the contestants as to how they can leverage this session. Primarily, this session is a golden opportunity for you to address to your constituents globally. And therefore, it's an opportunity which you should leverage, where you can first introduce yourself, because many of them wouldn't know you personally. You can also express your thoughts and ideas as to how you propose to add value to the Alumni Association. And if you have specific suggestions which could be part of your manifesto, then you should also describe your ideas briefly. So one is each one can possibly take about 7-8 minutes, where you introduce yourself the way it suits you, and also describe your ideas, how you can add value, and what you would like to do, what you would like to see going forward from the Alumni Association Executive Committee, and also what kind of initiatives you have in mind to help the institute in general. And there could be some questions which could come from the audience or participants across the globe. And Natasha will pick up those questions and direct them to the individual contestants. So all my best wishes to all of you, but I would suggest that you take maximum mileage out of this session. Thank you. Thanks, Natasha. Over to you.
Thank you, Kalpen sir. Now we have our next contestant, Rajiv Malhotra, BTech batch of 1984. Rajiv Malhotra, you may unmute yourself.
Sorry, I started speaking without unmuting. Sorry, guys. But it's an excellent concept, this soapbox. It's one of the first times I'm doing it. So pardon me if I've erred a little bit here. Okay, guys. As Natasha said, I'm Rajiv Malhotra, 1984 batch, electrical engineering, Nilgiri. Done my management in 89. I have worked with Texas Instruments, with Citibank, Bank of America, with Polaris. And then for the last 10 to 12 years, or 15 years or so, I've been working as a consultant, private consultant, running 2 companies. One is on strategic consulting, where I advise banks and insurance companies on IT and BPO side. Another is advising IT and BPO companies on the business side of banking and insurance. So we've federally connected 15 partners who come together for assignments, etc. Over the last 6-7 years or so, I have been more active on the startup space, where I've been involved in edtech, in e-healthcare and fintech areas. My interests are heavily loaded towards these areas. I personally have invested in about 8 of them. I have been in the process of setting up AIF category one fund that has not got approved. So I mean, there are reasons why it didn't get approved. Primarily because we wanted to invest 50% of the fund's corpus overseas. Anyway, the interest in startup exists a lot. And I think, one of the areas where I wanted to contribute was trying to mentor students and opportunities, even look at, alumni members who are in the startup space, who have existing startups and are looking at global reach. So I bring a reach specifically globally. I've worked actively over the last 10 years, advising provincial governments in China, provincial governments in Korea, worked with the Malaysian outsourcing industry. I worked with banks in the Middle East, probably every bank in the Middle East I've worked with. I work with large banking software companies out of the US, insurance solution, one of the largest solutions, insurance solution providers out of UK, brought them to Asia. So that's one platform which I was thinking was an opportunity. Another was to try and create, given the vast experience and the network I have globally, I was looking at opportunities where we can create a platform for internships for students and for people who have actually who are students who are existing in the who are currently studying, or people who have passed out who wanting to come back and do some work with the startup itself, help them create a platform where we can offer internships, etc., and provide a global access platform not only for investments but also for mentorships. It's one of the areas which I'm looking at actively. I think Narendra sir did talk about larger expanse of the alumni chapters. I think it's an area which is also there in my mind to look at expanding. While we talk about active chapter in the US and in UK, etc., some parts of chapters are ignored. There may be not that dominant number of people, but there's Australia and New Zealand is another area where there's a large alumni. The chapter is not very active, so I have reasonable connects there. I think one can look at that area again. These are some things which have come to my mind. I also believe another area which interests me is giving back to society, which is about the NGO. So participation, the alumni network participation in a non-government activity, basically in terms of giving back, primarily in terms of educating underprivileged. While lots of people do activity in areas in around the dominant cities, now IITs are expanded much larger, but there are people who are aspiring from smaller towns who are wanting to come in. So educating underprivileged area is education for underprivileged children is something which is close to my heart. Another one which is close to my heart, people, at least of my generation now, will begin to think about it at least, is that lots of people, you have aged parents and people actually are overseas. They can't take care of the elders who are now in India. So an opportunity to look at neglected or left alone aged people. So there's an opportunity to look at elder care. These are two areas which I would like the alumni to start thinking about it. So I have a framework there because I have a trust which have been set up that was done prompted because of my father. So it's a trust in my father's name. But here I think it needs to be done on a much larger scale. And the opportunity could be much, much larger than just one individual trying to do with some 70, 80 lakh rupees. It can be a much larger corpus and we can do it in a larger scale. These are some of my thoughts. And I'm open to ideas. I would, if anybody has new ideas, I am really open to them. Today, I have that opportunity. I have the time. I have the energy. I assume I still have the energy because I'm probably just 59, but I still think I do reasonably well. I came second in a 10-kilometer run in Airtel, so I think I'm agile. I can put my time in there. So I think there's an opportunity for people like us to go back and give to society.
Thank you, Mr. Rajiv. That was good. So just to the panelists here, we have a request coming in from our attendees that it would be good that if we can have the videos on. And for the attendees, you can please post your questions if you have any questions that you want to ask for the to the nominees in the Q&A or in the chat. So we can take it up from there. Okay, so next contestant we have with us is Mr. Vivek Batra, BTech, 1985.
Very good evening to all the participants here, as well as to the audience. First of all, I would like to congratulate Kalpen on assuming this very responsible position as president of the Alumni Association. And secondly, Rajiv Malhotra, I'm truly overwhelmed by your achievements. So congratulations for that. I am 1985 BTech Chemical, as Natasha has introduced me. So that makes about 35 years of rich experience and exposure. I have had exposure to very diversified industries like auto ancillary, engineering, construction, entertainment, and in my present role as CEO and President of Amrit Corp Limited, which is a food industry, basically a dairy industry, and which is technically the most advanced company in India. And I would dare say, thanks to my team that I'm handling, I inherited a very good team. And thanks to this team, I would say that Amrit Corp and its division Amrit Food is one of the most ethical and socially responsible organizations of India, though we are small as compared to other companies. But we have very much acknowledged our position in this society, and we are contributing to that. Now, I would, the elections are ongoing, regardless of the outcome, whoever wins, whoever loses. But I would like to congratulate all the ones who put forth the candidature, because according to me, they're all very brave to have contested, and they are all winner for me. So I would like to acknowledge all of you. Okay, so now my 4 years of IIT, I think, as for everyone else, they are the most memorable moments, memorable years of my life. One, we were a fantastic group of about 15 friends who are still very, very intimate, very, very close to each other. And secondly, of course, it was a wonderful institution, which I'm proud to be associated with. And yes, because I gained so much from this, the most in my life, that I wanted to pay back to my alma mater. And for me, what I set me thinking last year, when I had a lot of time during the lockdown to think, was how to pay back. And then this idea struck me that why not go into the Alumni Association if I really want to serve my organization and my alumni. So that is how I decided and put forth my candidature for it. Now, while working with this organization, I learned all the ropes of team building and being a team leader. Just to put things in perspective, whatever time involvement was there when I joined, so my time involvement almost was reduced by 90% because of the fantastic teamwork we had. And lots of other things like our team, we brainstormed, if there was any problem, we went into root cause and found the reason for that trouble, and then finding a preventive or corrective action for that. So that has put me in a very good position to contribute, to do a very good analysis. And because of virtue of our various clients, we had number of actions we took to be socially responsible. In addition to this company, I have had held executive roles in very reputed industrial bodies like FICCI and CII. Again, that was a very good exposure, which has poised me to contribute well towards the Alumni Association. Here, what I picked up topics which are very close to my heart and which I'm passionate about is to mentor young alumni into being socially responsible entrepreneurs. It is not just what I want to mentor them. It is not just money that they have to make, but money they should make by contributing to the society. of which we are a member. So once we are socially responsible and socially, I think the money follows. So very interestingly, I would like to share my experience of being a mentor. So that was sometime in late 1970s when I was in school and when I became mentor for the very first time. So I used to go to Connaught Place quite often, which is a favorite haunt of all Delhiites, especially the school-going kids. So I think probably I was in 9th or 10th. Then I came across a shoe shiner boy who was probably 2 or 3 years elder to me. So I met him once, I met him again. So I discussed what was he doing and how he could improve. As a result, I helped in making a project. No PPT, no pen, no paper, nothing, just verbal. How to improve his business. And I invested 100 rupees of my pocket money into his business. So that's another thing that the guy vanished after about 2 or 3 months. So I didn't get to know how he was doing. But anyway, that was my first exposure and experience in mentoring. And since last couple of years, I've been mentoring students who are doing course under AMI, that which is essentially a technical course. So over the years, with my experience with all international QSRs, so I feel I'm very well poised to mentor young alumni in socially responsible entrepreneurship. And I have always picked up topics which I'm passionate about. And this is one topic which I'm passionate about. And I know that the platform that I'll get being an EC member will put my wonderful, rich experience to the best use. So thank you very much for giving me the time and the exposure and the platform to address you all elites. Thank you. Stay safe. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek. Now we have the next contestant, Mr. Piyush Varshney, BTech 1986.
Hello, everyone. Congratulations, Kalpesh ji. So, my biggest challenge is that IIT Delhi is not able to use its incubation center properly. Mr. Ram Gopal Verma had come to Hyderabad and he had big plans to create incubation centers in all the states, but nothing was being done. So, most of the startups, they don't have the understanding of the native business sense. They have to be taught how a business full cycle is managed. So if you see, most of the startups, 99% of the startups fail. So we are sitting on such a huge intellectual data, but it is not being used properly. This is the first thing we should try to promote through this particular platform. The second thing is there is no incentive to become a alumni member. I am not getting discount anywhere, whether it is an insurance policy. So if my family has to buy an insurance policy, it is 30,000 rupees. Why not 15,000 rupees? Okay. If I have to go to a hotel, I should get a 50% discount. Or if I have to say, we are not using a memorandum of quantity concept through our alumni platform. And these small things will attract most of our alumnus to start seeing value in this particular association. Hardly 100 people attend AGM. Why it is so? I am not able to understand up till now. So either our strategy to lure these particular alumnus is improper, which has to be worked initially. All these particular concept of contributing XYZ for the industry comes second. First, the alumni has to become strong, because I understand if I am approaching to a particular alumnus for a help, he will prioritize me at the last. He is not going to help me. But I believe that bhaiya, there has to be a bhai concept which has to be promoted at the Delhi IIT alumnus platform. So this is our culture. This is the Indian culture, and this should be promoted. Kalpenji has been doing it from a very long time, and now he's become a president. He will further promote it. Thank you.
Thank you, Piyush. We missed your introduction part, so it would be great if you can just introduce yourself to the attendees.
Yeah, I passed out in 86. In those times, the salaries were 1,500. So I never thought it appropriate to go to this particular corporate world and join my family business. So I am having diverse exposure in trading, manufacturing, then import export, and recently I am an angel investor for a defense startup, which is basically a first generation maintenance for the MiG planes. And I am also an angel investor for ventilators. So we are manufacturing ventilators at Bangalore, and this startup unit, which is in association with the Padam Shri DRDO director, Mr. Divakar Nampalli. So I am not very good at expressing myself, but I know how to make things happen. And if given an opportunity, I will make it happen. So native understanding and Angrezi are two different things. We have to be very, very practical in capturing the opportunities.
Well said, Piyush ji. Well done.
Thank you so much, Piyush.
Good.
So next we have with us Mr. Arvind Kumar Mishra, MTech 1989 batch.
Yeah. First of all, I just would like to say very good evening to my old friends over here. See, I just would like to introduce myself. I'm basically a civil engineer by profession, and I did my MTech in Soil Mechanics Foundation Engineering in 89. And I devoted my entire professional life in developing very big size hydropower projects. Right now, I am in Bhutan. Here, I developed a project, 720 megawatt project in Bhutan, which is funded by Government of India, costing 5,110 crores. This project has created a benchmark in the SAARC region, Southeast Asia. If you look at, we have never completed a project at the cost of 7.14 crore per megawatt, including some transmission component within Bhutan. If you compare with the contemporary projects in India, where the transmission part is excluded, my cost is 6.14 crore. So the Government of India has acknowledged, Government of Bhutan has acknowledged, I have to hand over this project to Royal Government of Bhutan. This project is completed in 7 years. And our Honorable Prime Minister Modi, he came here in August 19 and 17th August, this project was dedicated to the Royal Government of Bhutan. After working here for so many years, this I am completing now 10 years here, 7 years I took to complete the project. Initial 2 years, I developed the infrastructure for this project. And now as per the bilateral agreement with the two countries, I have to run the project for 2 years. So that period is now getting completed. My background is that I have worked incidentally as a civil engineer in design, engineering, construction management, contracts management, monitoring, overall planning of the project. So this is how I've been contributing to the projects, not only in Bhutan. This is my second time I'm in Bhutan. In 2000 to 2002, I was again in Bhutan. At that point of time, I did a project named Kurichu, that is 60 megawatt. And based on that, probably the government carried an impression that I can contribute again. So they appointed me here as managing director. So I headed this project. I'm basically from NHPC, first batch. And we started, in fact, the NHPC as a public sector and started, going up slowly and slowly. But what I have seen here in Bhutan, if you look at that, the countries like Nepal, which has got 80,000 megawatt potential and very less is developed. Bhutan, after adding to my project, they are now touching 2,300 megawatt total power, and almost excluding the domestic consumption, the entire power is going to India, exported to India. My tariff is 4 rupees 12 paisa. So theoretically, I should have brought to this country 1,234 crores, because I'm supposed to generate 3 billion units a year. But the moment I started the work, the project commissioning, we generated in the first year 1,344. That means almost more than 100 crore extra we generated. So the GDP of Bhutan has gone up tremendously. Now, after working here, I could see what is happening in Bangladesh, what is happening in Myanmar, what is happening in Nepal, and what is happening in these countries overall. So India, and especially the IIT Delhi Alumni Association, can play a very important role. Very recently, I just give you example. I am promoting here hydrogen cell fuel-based technology for the transportation sector, with a company is located in Pune. So I started talking to them, and I would like to bring that technology over here, and it is possible here in Bhutan. This is one of the examples. In Myanmar, Nepal, Bangladesh, if you look at, a lot of opportunities are waiting. Unfortunately, we don't have good people around. This is what is the truth. You don't have people, those who can plan things properly and have the proper coordination, proper planning and execution. So it is always done in piecemeals. Like in Bhutan also, if you look at, it has got 30,000 megawatt theoretically assessed potential. And Nepal is having 80,000 megawatt theoretically assessed potential. If we integrate all this power within our system, because now the government of India is putting a lot of stress on renewable energy. Renewable energy cannot sustain until we add the hydropower into it. Because if we want to taper down in thermal power in another, say, 20 years or 30 years time, you have to build the base through the hydropower. This hydropower can be supplemented very nicely by developing projects without any trouble in Bhutan and also in Nepal. Nepal 80,000 you can harness. Here you can harness almost 22,000 megawatt. And harnessing power here, if you compare with India, is very easy. No problem in land acquisition, no problem in sorting out so many issues, and working is so comfortable. So my idea is that if the IIT alumni can be brought in, by developing a model through even I have proposed at some point of time to the government that there are very good professionals are available, but they are never utilized, unfortunately, because government never thinks like that. So I think that the alumni can be, after the deliberations, we can develop some sort of a model in which we can coordinate between the two governments. Wherever we want to develop a project, we can associate with the project as a mediator. We can coordinate between two governments, and we can deliver by coordination, by management, and many other things, a better project at less cost. Because this project which I have developed, this project has got 70% loan with 10% simple interest, 30% is grant. When it comes to tariff, the Bhutan considers the 30% grant as an equity. So as per CRC norms, that 30% also attracts 16% return on the equity. So what I'm trying to say that if I can reduce in this project which I have done, I have reduced cost tremendously. The Indian cost today is about 9 to 10 crores per megawatt. I have brought down this cost to almost by 4 crores per megawatt. How? I innovated certain things. Traditionally in our country, we have never developed the dams without having a lot of those old methods by which you lose time, the quality of work is not good. Here I have placed very first time the cutoff wall in the upstream coffer dam. Zero seepage, 60 meters below the riverbed. There's a new technology I brought from Germany, a company called Bauer, which was brought in, and we did that cutoff wall in upstream coffer dam, cutting the river from the main pit of the dam, 6 months. And the work executed was excellently well. No seepage after the commissioning. So that was the first experiment I made. Then similarly, in the underground powerhouses, we had a very, very bad feature. And the consultant was of the opinion that we should shift the powerhouse, which I did not shift. I personally went to NIRM, that is National Institute of Rock Mechanics, for the numerical modeling. And we did a very serious instrumentation with the cavern, and we did the cavern there only. I saved at least 1.5 years for the project and at least 20 crores for the project. So what I'm trying to say in a nutshell, that there is an opportunity for all of us, those who can think a little ahead of time and can cut down the cost, and which is possible. So my request or my comment to this election process is that if I enter into it, I would like to develop some small cell within the system by which we can propose to the government, because government has to be given ideas. I have seen after working for so many years, whether it is diplomat or whether it's bureaucrats, absolutely until you bring them some technology, some concrete ideas, and if you can save costs, save time, everybody is looking for that. So here is the place where we can definitely contribute through the IIT Delhi Alumni Association, and we can contribute to the development of our own country, because the power which is going from my project, though it is 4 rupees 12 paisa, but it is a 20 years fixed tariff. It is not going to be enhanced. So it is a long-term gain for our own country. All companies, those who have worked in the civil structures or hydromechanical or electromechanical, they are all Indian companies. So whatever the government of India is pumping into this country is going back to our country in form of inputs. Cement is coming from India. The other all inputs are coming from India. So whatever I am pumping in is going back to my country, lifting my GDP up. Is a win-win situation. Bhutan is also happy. India is also happy. Same model we can replicate in Myanmar. We can replicate in Nepal. We can replicate in Bangladesh. Bangladesh, you will not believe, the Russians are coming and investing in nuclear power stations because they don't have any other source. They are requesting Bhutan to have a dedicated power station for them. Straight, they are ready to invest. They want to develop a project, hydro project, 1,000 megawatt, and that power should go to Bangladesh directly. This talk is going on. When these opportunities are visible, why we should not harness putting our brain into it, our wisdom into it, and create a model where I can assure to both the governments that I can cut down the cost, I can cut down the time. So these are my ideas, and we have that capability, because when I was doing my MTech, I could feel that there is a big source of knowledge is available. Unfortunately, that is very less utilized because of various reasons. This is the time where this is a great opportunity for all of us to look into it. So this was one of my thinking, which I have shared with you. And the other things in which I would like to promote. See, the point is the government is putting a lot of efforts to cut down the coal power. We want to become very efforts are that we should become a carbon neutral country. But carbon neutral country, India will achieve 30-40 years. So during this cut down, how to sustain a grid where I have got 350,000 megawatt installed capacity in our country. If you cut down more than 160,000, which is already on the coal, it is to be replaced by some other power, that is hydropower. For that, pump storage schemes are to be developed. You know, you have developed like Teri. Teri has developed a dam, and downstream there is another dam developed. Then when there is an off-peak power available, you generate the power and pump back to the upper reservoir to low reservoir to upper reservoir. This can be supplemented by the power available from the renewable source like wind energy or solar energy off peak hours. So we can have a very good system of our own country where we can have the solar power, wind power, hydro power supplemented by the best developed projects. These are the things which can sustain the concept of renewable energy in the grid. Otherwise, grid will not sustain. If you look at the demand and supply concept, then our peaks are very high, and these peak demand cannot be met simply by having some power available and the coal is totally removed. Coal is acting as a base load. If the base load is removed and you are not replacing by a proper system, the grid will collapse. So these are the countries. Luckily, Bhutan is available to us. Nepal is available to us. Even Myanmar is available to us. Myanmar has got a lot of potential. Because of political instability and all that, Myanmar could not develop a lot of things. But now the time is coming that Myanmar is also moving towards political
I am sorry, Mr. Arvind, in interest of time, I have to cut you short. But
so I just would like to conclude like this, that I would like to utilize the knowledge source available within the institute to develop a model where we can mediate between the government to government. We can act, and this is possible. Here I have seen in Bhutan, I have experimented on this, succeeded into that and delivered the project. So this we can develop for Bangladesh, we can develop that model for Myanmar, we can develop that model for Bhutan, even for Nepal. So my request to you is that if I get an opportunity to get in, definitely we can do a model which will be beneficial for our own country and to other country. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Arvind. That was very educational. But I have a question for you. I was just going through your manifesto that is available on the IIT Delhi Alumni website. And it reads that my efforts would be to develop more coordination between the professionals and the employers so that the knowledge available with the IIT alumni is shared for the upliftment of the society within the country and the outside. So my question is that how would you use IIT Delhi Alumni Association platform for this purpose, and how it would help the association and the institute?
I just tell you one small example. I think you would appreciate. BHEL is doing the higher electromechanical equipments, and I have been handling BHEL for last 40 years. I'm not happy with them. Very, very frankly, I'm admitting. Why I'm not happy? BHEL initially brought the technology from Russia, and very less incremental improvement were made subsequently. Today also, my machines are BHEL, we have a lot of problems. If we brought in the knowledge and the innovations which can be within our own group through the institute and insert into the system, I can make a more efficient machine at less cost. Just a small example I'm giving you. That BHEL is not investing into that, but we can do it. It is possible. So this is one of the examples. So the efficiency should improve, the quality of the output should improve. These improvements are possible. Unfortunately, they are not happening because there's nobody to promote them. BHEL has become such a big organization, having so much inertia inside, nobody bothered. They are just repeating the old designs. That time is gone. Now the time has come, we should improve every year. Who will improve? How it will improve? When I talk to the chairman or to the director of finance, least interested. That sort of mindset has to be killed. That is what I am aiming at.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Arvind. Next we have with us is Dr. Deepak Arora, BTech 1992.
Hi, this is Deepak Arora. I'll just switch on the video. I'm 92 textiles. I've spent 15 years in IT. industry, and I ran a training institute. And last 6-7 years, I was doing recruitments for startups, and we was also doing recruitments uh, uh, for the kids who like passing out for skill development centers. I would say those who get salaries between 15 to 25K. So people, mostly kids, they're from government schools, and and for them the starting a job is very important. Even some of them I could make them programmers also. So, and last year I started training chess to the kids, and now we got 100 odd kids in the training. Is the name Chess for Kids? So now this year I'm mostly focused on training, building up this training place and training for kids, especially on chess and cube solving. And now we got 3 trainers, and my plans is, especially to train those skill development uh, centers where uh, uh, on the who are good in chess, kids who come from government schools and less privileged kids, to train them and on how to teach chess and uh, cube solving. There's a lot of kids now on government schools also who've been playing chess good, and uh, I've been managing. I've been active in sports. I've been part of managing sports activities at alumni centers for IDD alumni for 4-5 years. Uh, all the events, all the sports events before the last year, I was part of it. Though I'm not a EC member, and uh, I I if elected, my focus would be, hopefully we can get those sports events at IIT Delhi, or my idea is if we can have multiple centers and one coordination center, we can have people get together for events. Why don't they're ready to get together in one center in US or UK. We can have multiple sports events uh, across continents. That is one thing I can. But in the meantime, in the COVID era, I mean, oh, I have plans to organize a lot of chess tournaments online, just because they can be held online. And as far as I've been doing counseling, a part of the counseling team for the kids, especially for the kids who find it tough to get their placement to campus. So I've been in touch with BSW, uh, Saki, and I was part of the counseling activity. And my focus would be, a lot of people are talking about employability for the semi-skilled, we call it. Let's say, let's slightly uh, because these kids who come from government schools, they have to get their employability factor, employability get going as soon. So I think, and there's a lot of now focus on entrepreneurship. What I'm talking to the entrepreneurship, the skills development center is that, you need to give them skills where they can earn. And I think the making them tutors or making them good coaches, not good good coaches who can go and train, kids in the societies, in the local centers, and earn their living, as well as, that they can do it part time and go for the professional degree to upgrade their skills. So in terms of skill development, that is my idea. If we can uh, make IIT alumni coordinating body where we can impart the skill development across to the uh, plan to the skill development centers. Uh, and yes, sports events I would like to organize as much as possible. Any questions if you have?
I don't see any questions from our attendees for you, Mr. Deepak.
Okay, not.
Thank you so much.
One question I want to ask.
Yeah, please.
But tell me, how is you said sporting events? So when you were in IIT, were you organizing any sport event at that time? Were you involved?
All the sports events, like last 4-5 years, Ashok Kumar Singh ji was there, Rohit Koshis. I was part of this. Even the alumni get together the last year, which you could physically meet. I organized the board gaming for the kids on the back office, and kids liked it a lot.
I know, but right now what we are discussing.
Mhm.
So a couple of questions for Deepak, and then can I ask some questions from
Yeah, sure.
to Arvind also?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Deepak, tell me
sure.
one thing, these sporting that you're saying, how is
Mhm.
it going to help Alumni Association, one? And two, you were talking about skill development. So
Mhm.
is IT not involved in skill development at present moment?
IIT, I mean, in terms of, I would say, if I there is there's not a connect anything. I think so. In terms of the local skill development centers, there's Entrepreneurship University in Gurgaon, Vishwakarma University, and there Delhi had some skill development center, but I don't see any interface of IIT Delhi with any of those skill development centers. Is
Okay.
that the question? I mean, no, I think they can really make a connecting interface because IIT's alumni, which has got the maximum requirements. You know, people run startups. We have an IIT who run sports startups also. We run with a lot of tutoring startups also. So they need a lot of these kind of kids who are looking for those kind of opportunities, especially the skill development centers.
I know.
They're looking for
But skill development, you know, we need a proper infrastructure for skill development. So
skill development.
do you think that we have already, well, whatever we use, we have to use our existing resources, whether it be monetary resources
What I see,
or
no,
whether it be
if you
human
talk about
resources.
resourcing,
So you think
yeah,
we have enough resources that we can go in for such development that you're talking of?
now see what these skill development centers which I've seen, even the Vishwakarma University which is coming up in Gurgaon and all that thing, they got resources. They're ready to invest in resources, but what they lack is कि exactly कि बच्चा काम जो भी पढ़ाओ whatever the course content. अभी तक skill development center में maybe I can speak a little bit. What all they teach is still now only digital marketing. Okay.
So what I'm saying is that let us not talk of Ashoka or whatever university, because we have our own
What I'm
setup.
talking about is
We have our own infrastructure in Alumni Association. So I just want to understand that you think that we have the resources and infrastructure to take this up. That's a yes or no answer.
no. I mean, they don't need this the skill development center. They need an interface. You know, where the kids are going to get placed, or you know where the people are going to get their first job. That is what their major aim is, and maybe plan the. They're looking at somebody to plan what is the current industry needs, and somebody who can plan their courses. That way the resources, I'm not saying those kids can come here and utilize these resources, but I'm talking about an interface to the industry, startup world, what these people are looking for in the skill development centers.
So according to you, in Alumni,
Anyway,
so I think let
have
us.
to cut you short. We still have two candidates.
Okay, fine. So I think
We're short of
let us
time.
be through with
And
them.
in case we have time, we'll
Yeah.
definitely get back
Fine,
to this discussion. It is pretty interesting.
Okay,
Sure.
okay. Yeah.
I just want to give that we have.
I think Deepak, I should meet Deepak offline. Well, I think this is a long discussion,
You can send me a
Sure
message.
thing, sure thing.
right? So I'll be in touch with you, Deepak.
Development centers a lot.
All the best.
Thanks, David. All the best to you also. All the best to all the contestants, I would say.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek, and thank you so much, Deepak. Now I would like to invite our next candidate, Sanjeev Kumar Shrivastava, who is MTech batch 2004, to present his views. Sanjeev, you may unmute yourself. I see you are on mute.
Just check. I think he was a little unwell. That's what he wrote in one of the WhatsApp messages. So I really need to check if he's okay. He seemed okay on the video.
Yeah. Okay, we'll check with Sanjeev. In the meantime, I would request Nand Kumar Krupp to please, take the stage and share his views. Nand, are you available?
They are driving on the. He was very much there, driving on the roads of Milan. When we last contacted him. Nand, maybe he's forgotten to unmute himself.
He was going into a meeting. He said in 20 minutes he's rushing to a meeting. He's
Yeah,
in Milan.
he was
So that
rushing.
may be the cause. He must have gone into a meeting and put it on mute.
Yeah. Okay. I think in interest of time, there is one question that I have for all the candidates today. So if we have to say that there is one idea that you have to execute during your tenure, so what that idea would be and how that idea would help the Alumni Association as well as the institute. So to begin this round, I would like to start with Narendra Kumar Madan. So if he can share his views upon the one idea that he would like to take up if he's elected and how that would help the institute and the association. Narendra, you're on mute. Please unmute yourself.
First of all, let me again thank all the people who have shared their ideas. I think we are moving in the right direction. The single most idea, I think, is networking is probably the most. We are spread across the world, and unless and until we gather enough data for who is doing what and how they can contribute, I'm sure there are a lot of things which we can do for the society in general, and particularly for our rural areas. Yeah, we have technology, but somehow it has not been exploited to the benefit of the people. Things have been restricted to the major cities. Our lifestyle is again restricted to the major cities. Of course, now slowly the towns are developing, but I think we have skill levels. We are recognized the world over, but as far as our contribution to our own country is concerned, to our association is concerned, it is extremely limited. And probably one of the reasons is that the networking and collecting the data is not there. My focus will be more on getting enough information from all our alumni and see how they can contribute and how they can participate, because unless and until they participate, they will not be able to contribute. Having data, having information is not the thing. We need to really ginger them up so that they come, get themselves involved, and unless and until they get themselves involved, things will not move. That's what I plan to do it in my tenure in the EC. Thank you. Any questions anybody has?
I think that would be all. So on the same note, Rajiv Malhotra, what would be your initiative, that one prioritized initiative that you would like to take up if you're elected, and how that would help the institute and the association?
Sorry, one of the ideas which have been in my mind, I'll borrow from my younger son. He was trying to do what is called create a platform where you can get look at social responsibility as well as accountability together on a platform. And this is probably applies to lots of people who are in the alumni who are done well in life, who want to contribute back to society. Create a platform and get accreditation of NGOs, etc., which who are doing good work. Get them monitored, so get the impact also assessed. So what we as association do is create a platform, identify, accredit NGOs. People can create their own charitable trusts online, use the funds directed towards that, and what the platform does is evaluates the NGO itself, has parameters. Take the example of the one which has food program. You can have and find out and adopt people and say that I'm adopting 10 children as part of this from an IIT association in a platform. But you can go and monitor them and get their progress itself also updated, what happens to them on a monthly basis, etc. So this is one example. You can have IoT devices which are existing there. So things like that, take it to a next level, which is social accountability. social responsibility and impact assessment. Bring them all on a platform, accredit it together, which is what the institute can do, is I thought one area.
Okay, thank you. Vivek Batra. So what would be your priority if you're elected?
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So my ideas are quite clear in this. What I would like to do is, one, I would like to see to it maximize inflow of funds to Alumni Association. And how I'm going to do is to try to maximize the membership, because I see membership is quite low in Alumni Association. So increase the membership, and two, to encourage our alumni to contribute, to donate to the Alumni Association. So thereby making a good corpus of funds, the funds which can be used to encourage youngsters, mentor them. And we are not just give a platform for mentoring or just give our place to various angel networks to come there and bring over youngsters for the pitch. So we want that we should also become investors, venture capitalists, investors to invest in those various pitches of startups which are given. So that is would be my initiative and my endeavor in these 3 years.
Thank you, Vivek Batra. So Piyush Varnse, how would you go about it?
Yeah, when Mr. Ram Gopal ji had come to Hyderabad, I had proposed him, why not use IIT Delhi as a platform to bid for projects where most of the entrepreneurs are not able to do because of the pre-qualification. We have the intelligence, we have all the capability, but cannot bid. All these big companies are only eligible to bid, and we all entrepreneurs, small entrepreneurs, are not able to do it. So if Kalpenji can pitch this particular idea with the management, IIT management, IIT is lending their pre-qualification. When other companies can lend their pre-qualification, why not IIT do it? What Mr. Mishra told me, yes, it is very true. Designing, and when the design is converted to equipment, the cost just skyrocket. I see any cost of fabrication as cost of the material plus the fabrication cost. But when it is sold, it is 5x the cost. So we have to become competitive in the international market, and we can only become competitive in the international market provided there is a platform which can provide the pre-qualification. This is one thing. The second thing is I want local chapters to get land from the state government so that we can develop a center of excellence which will incentivize the local alumni to come over there, क्योंकि जब तक किसी को पैसा नजर नहीं आता कोई भी नहीं आता है ना. तो हमारे को as a बनिया we have to just attract them, lure them, here is the money, please come, and people will start pouring, and people will this percentage of people not attending the meeting will also increase. Try this idea and it will definitely work. I am a native entrepreneur. I have done my business from the age of 16.
Thank you, Piyush. Arvind Kumar Mishra. So what would be your prime idea?
Yeah. My idea is very simple. If you look at infrastructure, I'm talking about only the NHAI is budget per year is more than 1 lakh crore. 1 lakh crore NHAI is spending on development of roads, highways, and roughly between 40 to 50,000 rupees are being spent on the projects which are other than that. Means Government of India is spending directly through either the state government or the directly central government funded project. Recently, the smart city concept has come up in which a lot of money is available. I'm helping government of Himachal to develop a traffic tunnel There are 4 tunnels, but initially now they're going to develop 1 tunnel. Unfortunately, if you look at the how to what construction methodology should be deployed, which is optimum, we can do very fast the work, and there's a viaduct is also coming up. So if you look, these type of things in these type of projects, suddenly you realize that there's no one single agency who can deliver the conceptual designs, then construction methodology, and appropriate contracts drafting to the client, I mean to the Himachal government in this present case, and get it executed accurately. So reduce the cost, time and cost control. If you start doing some sort of a cost saving unit from the IT side, maybe by creating a platform or the way the Vaishnaji has told, we can definitely intervene and can save the cost and time both by improving the things. And that, if you just take 1% to 2% of 1.5 lakh crore, you can imagine the cost involved into the consultancy work. And we don't have very good consultants in these areas. Whatever I have seen, they are of just mediocre knowledge, not much. Neither they have the ideas how to execute, what are the construction methods, how to design best, what are the European practice, what is the American practice, nothing. So we can intervene. We have that knowledge, we have the platform, and we can utilize. I am talking only 1% of 1.5 lakh crore, which is the investment in this country taking place every year.
Yeah.
Look at the colossal money involved into only this part. And don't have people to handle it.
And in addition, sorry to interrupt, sir. In addition to what Mishra ji is saying, our IIT Delhi should become a body to challenge the financial closures for all the infrastructure projects. And this is something which is to be done in the interest of the nation to save the money, because most of the infrastructure projects are padded by almost 100%, and which should be stopped up. And how Mr. Kalpenji will do it is to be seen. Whether I come in the EC body or not, it doesn't matter. But our motive is to work meaningfully for the nation.
Yes, I agree with you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Mr. Arvind Kumar. Thank you, Piyush. We have Sanjeev Kumar Srivastava with us. So I would request him to please take the stage and share his views about the election and why people should elect him and his manifesto. He's MTech Batch 2004.
Just 1 second. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, your audio is clear.
Okay, sorry, I have very bad throat infection today and fever even. So I'm trying to convey message what I would like to do through the help of the team what we have currently. So first of all, I would like to say good evening, everybody. And I would like to thank both the outgoing and incoming president, who really have worked hard with their team to make this association very active and responsive. And I acknowledge the support of such a great team working for us for last 1 year. Now I will come to the point why I have come to you with a request for the EC post in this association. So I did my master degree in 2004 from Energy Studies, and after that I did my PhD from IIT Delhi itself and completed in 2011. My area was in nanotechnology. I am basically the physics background person. So with that, I started my journey, and after that, I am currently working at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, in Center for Nanoscience and Engineering Department. So I will not go much more in introduction part. First, I will come to the point what is set by the committee. We have to talk about the branding of IIT and other things. So I will come to that. So why I have come here, I keep seeing my colleague working hard for the association, the system, as I have been elected PhD representative 2 times during my PhD, and I was also the house secretary of Satpura Hostel. And I have done many more things that time, starting from, you can say, bringing the reservation counter, this railway reservation counter in the campus, I was the person who was involved behind that, even bringing the water point below the library. So all these contribution I did, and then I got a request from my undergraduate student why I should not go for the house secretary, and then I went for that. After the PhD representative, I won the election that time, and we did lot of things in Satpura hostel. And because of that, Satpura hostel and even the this IIT administration system honored me with the freedom of house of the Satpura. With that, I started, and then I went to nanotechnology department of ISC Bangalore. There I am coordinating good program that is called Indo Nano User Program, through which we started helping all the researchers who are not having facilities. And I want to convey that Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore is having one of the best facility, which is only available 4 or 5 places in the world. That clean room facility, what we have for nano fabrication. So when we made that facility, the intention was that it should be shared by everyone, and we shared with almost 7,000 researchers. And the concept was that when we will support those researchers, bring them to the system, we had conflict. We put a policy that we will not have such kind of conflict of interest. People should not hesitate in coming us, talking to their research topic. So we took conscious decision, and if you'll see any research publication which is available on the website, you will not find our name in that one. So we have those researchers with such kind of policy, and we don't have any authorship in those things. And people come to us with those ideas, discuss with us, and we have done a lot of technology development in that. Currently, I am heading a program that is called Indian Science Technology Engineering Program, which is basically an e-portal which is having the database of R&D equipment resources. I saw many of my senior colleagues were talking about the optimization of resources and saving the public money, taxpayer money. So the actual concept of this portal is similar to that. What we have done in that, we have collected the data of all the government institution as well as the private institution, what we have established through the public fund. And this is now actually mandated by the Ministry of Finance and other ministry that all the institutions should be part of that iSTEM, and they should share. So with that, we started this. I hope you can hear. Sorry.
Yes, sir, you're audible. Please
Audible.
continue. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So currently what we are going to do in the second phase of this iSTEM program, and iSTEM was also launched by the Prime Minister and considered as one of the transformative idea for the country. That is the big achievement we got in within 1 year of this starting of this e-portal. So with that we started, and now the second phase we are waiting. It may come within a week. What we are going to do through that, we are trying to convert waste to wealth. And what is that? Actually, the many institutions, what they do after the equipment get old, they write up, and they write up to the scrapper. What we are saying, if that kind of things can be bring to one place and make a museum, our ITI diploma people can go there, learn those machine, how it is made, how it is manufactured, and how it can be maintained. So we can get really good skill developed manpower, which is really helpful for our country. So with that, we have started the iSTEM project. Now I will come to the point what we have been given for the soapbox topics, like role of IIT Delhi Alumni Association in enhancing the global brand of IIT Delhi. This is very important topic, and it is very much needed also in the country. As you know, any institution get name and fame when their student goes out with the happiness, satisfaction, shows good character everywhere, understanding the problems, job nature, and providing the solution differently than others, what people do. In addition, if institute develop culture for good ecosystem for science and technology, startups, entrepreneurs, which our alumni association is doing, and they have started, I can see that, may also added advantage for it. In my opinion, what IIT Alumni Association role may be, work in collaboration with IIT administration, okay, and institute authority to provide better science and technology environment, technical guidance through alumni expert. Many people are here. I can see they are ready to help the young entrepreneurs and other people, like Mr. Ji was talking about that. and Vasne sir was talking about that. So those kind of things are really needed. And our student and even young faculty also need such kind of guidance, so that they cannot go only in the teaching system. They should also come forward, work on some kind of idea, develop, innovate it, and convert into the product, and which is the really need for the Atmanirbhar Bharat. The second point what I would like to mention here is that IIT the Illumination must conduct webinar for alumni by requesting the institute faculty to provide knowledge about his research plan, how he is thinking to take forward the SNT for real development. If we can conduct the new faculty webinar and our alumni can understand, they can help them, it will create some kind of interest to the alumni and get involved in faculty in such kind of development. The third point what I would like to mention here, what outcomes are there? We are having lot of outcomes, but it never reach to the society, never reach to the real people, and that can be publicized. That can be publicized very good if IIT Delhi Alumni Association will think about it. Currently, what we see in the TV channel whole day, some kind of news, repeating news, who told what. If we can through our alumni who are in the civil services or some kind of ministry, if we can connect with them, make some policy with the government, why not people should talk to, TV channels should talk to us about the scientific development in any other or any organization. If that kind of things will be done, really what we are doing in IIT Delhi or any IIT or any organization or any system, that will reach to the society. The knowledge is not reaching, except reaching to the some publication house and getting published in some magazine, which never reach to the real people. So I think that kind of work will really help us in IIT Delhi, and it will give a natural branding to our IIT system. So these kind of things are required. Then I have put the another point, what is really needed. If this kind of TV channel also, like we say this ISA appointed in this state or this district, if such kind of thing can be done with the faculty member or our alumni, if they are getting appointed in good company, why not their interview should be published in the newspaper as well as the media? If that kind of things, it will really attract good students, good alumni to interact with them, and it will help to our nation. The fourth point what I have, IIT Delhi Alumni Association should really do with the student. When our student comes to the institute at the first day, why not we should have one of the IIT Delhi alumni counter and interact from first day itself with those students, because they will be there for 4 years, and help them. We should talk to their parents, like earlier when Gurukul system was there, when parents leave their kids to the Gurukul, they were thinking, okay, for 5 years this student will be here and I don't have to worry. Why not that kind of environment we should set with the parents? They're always worried about their kids, and lot of stress environment is coming. Recently, I can tell you in my department, one is
sorry
PhD
Sanjeev Kumar, I would have to cut you short in the interest of time. I just would like to mention that
I will take 5 minutes.
we also have Nand Kumar back, and we have to give time.
I will just take 5 minutes. I'm not going to talk more.
Yeah, please,
These
please.
are
It would be great if you can conclude.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
these kind of things, if we can start such kind of counter at first day, and we can interact with the student through the study time, so it will really helpful for them, and we can really brand our IIT in a good system, and we can do some kind of cultural program. The next thing you have asked, the role of IIT Delhi administration alumni in governance of IIT Delhi. Of course, we can do such kind of things. We can bring such kind of idea and policy which is successful in other country. We can talk to our admin system, and we should get opportunity to implement, talk to the faculty. The next thing you have asked, whether IIT Delhi admin's current organizational structure need administrative reform. No, I don't think that kind of thing is required. It is required, of course, some kind of interaction, involvement of more alumni is required. And if we can conduct more and more awareness program and regional in different cities, our alumni will get interested and they will try to solve the regional problem and all this thing. And the last topic, what you have asked, challenges in the building of response alumni network, global alumni. If we really have the interactive portal, e-portal, where our alumni can interact with the student as well as they can interact with the faculty, it will help us in making really good IIT Delhi alumni system and the IIT Delhi system. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sanjeev Kumar, for your.
No, excellent idea. In fact, Kalpenji, we should buy a channel, nahin hai? And it is not a big cost. We can start relaying from our own channel. So, a great
Yeah.
idea, Mr.
We are listening to all of you. So we are collecting the ideas, and all the ideas are welcome, whether you make it to EC or not. Thanks all of you. Very good.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. We have Mr. Nand Kumar Kurup with us. He is BTech batch 1992. Sir, I would just like you to unmute yourself and share your manifesto with us.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. This is Nand Kumar from batch of 1992. I was in 88 to 92 in textile technology, and I won Roll of Honor also in 92 for various social activities and sports activity which you do in the IIT during the campus. So I'm here in Italy since last 23 years. I did my MBA from XIMB Bhubaneswar and also from SDA Bocconi in Milan, Italy. And then I went on to work with few multinationals in India with Arvind Mills, but in Italy with Gruppo Radici, which was a competitor of DuPont. And in 2001, I moved into the field of fashion, in fashion industry, and because of my network here. And since 2005, I'm an entrepreneur in fashion industry, where we do exports and trade in all the fashion goods all across the world. When the GST was implemented in India, I felt India has become a one market. Till I was visiting India every year, but I was amazed by the number of taxes different states have, octroys and all those things, and it never appeared to be like one market. GST was definitely a move which made me feel that India is now a one market, and I entered into India in 2017 with my own retail chain. So I have stores in Bangalore, Ludhiana, and Hyderabad, and we plan to expand to 10 other cities, but COVID happened. But above all that, e-commerce and is the biggest way forward, and even our focus was in e-commerce right at that time. So that's my business background and everything, and I think I've done fairly well, very well networked in the IIT circles in India, in US, everywhere, and also in Europe to some extent. Not many IITians here in Europe, but I must say that many of the consul generals and ambassadors who come here have done either their MTech from IIT Delhi or have done their BTech. So I have known many of the consul generals in Milan and ambassadors in Rome who are actually alumni of IIT. So it's just over the last 20 years. So that way I have a very good network in the circle of bureaucracy. Coming to, I'm glad to hear, first of all, I thank you very much. I'm honored to be in this esteemed panel with so much experience and so much knowledge is spoken. I could not hear everyone, but I heard most of you. I could not hear for half an hour, 40 minutes because I had an appointment at that period. And I feel I personally feel Alumni Association has grown and doing extremely well in last decade. You know, it was not that strengthened before, but I'm even with the new president and also the new committees, I think Alumni Association has been doing extremely well, and that also motivated me to contribute my my own way. One of our batchmates, one of our juniors, not batchmates, Vikram Gupta and other batchmates, started the IIT Endowment Fund, which we supported in a big way, and many of us have supported the Plux University and other things. Ashoka University started by again alumni of our batches, and there's so many things alumni are doing of their own, which is great and which should be done. But when it comes to coordinating together and doing for the institute, there has been some lacuna out there. We were there for the 25th year reunion a few years back in IIT Delhi, and we were amazed, completely amazed, and actually mind-boggled by the situation of the hostels. The campus looked beautiful, but when we went inside the hostel, we were shocked. Like in 88 to 92, we didn't live in that bad condition. We lived much better 22 years ago and 25 years ago. And so we immediately talked to the director, Mr. Gopal, and we said we should do something. And the endowment fund idea also was already in the place at that time. So, and it came up about everything. So there is no doubt that alumni have to contribute to their institute, to their alma mater. There is no doubt about that. And when contribute, I mean financially. And it doesn't mean to contribute, you don't have to be a committee member. You have to just have something in your heart to contribute. That's it, So that's something which I will try to inculcate among all the people who would be here in Europe. If I get selected as a committee member, I would try to see that this endowment fund is central in a very strong way from contribution from Europe. You cannot go, okay, you can talk to your batch as such if you want, but you cannot go and talk to all different peoples all across the world. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes,
yeah, we can hear you very clearly, Kuro.
Yeah, you're audible. Please continue.
Yeah. So that's one thing which I feel I would do. I have been also very strongly involved with the cricket club when I was in IIT.
I think he has entered a tunnel and it's not audible anymore.
Yeah, I think we have some connection network issue with Kumar. Just in interest of time, we have a question for Mr. Sanjeev from one of our attendees. So the question is that Mr. Sanjeev, you spoke about developing equipment for waste to wealth. Do you have any concrete plans, or is it still at a stage of an idea right now?
We have complete plan and we have submitted to the Government of India. We are waiting just approval and it is about to come within a week. And after that, we will reveal all the plans in details. We have everything.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think we have lost network connection with Mr. Nand. So we have already crossed the time. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time, for sharing your manifesto with us. Now I would like to request our elected president, Mr. Kalpen Shukla, to please give the thank you note.
Thanks, Natasha. Wonderfully conducted the soapbox. First of all, I must thank all the contestants. You people come with a lot of ideas, energy, enthusiasm, and I'm sure whoever gets into the EC will benefit from the person's experience as well as expertise. But at the same time, I would also like to inform all of you that you are always welcome, whether you are part of EC or you are not, it doesn't matter. As Mr. Kuru rightly said, that it requires some emotional connect with the institute and the alumni that will motivate you to contribute. Before I close, there is one query in the chat, which I would just like to mention, and I may read it out for the benefit of all the contestants. The query is around total, we have about 50% students, alumni from SC, ST, OBC communities. Under such social background, what are your plans for these communities or these students for employment? And why there are inadequate facilities or faculties from, inadequate faculties from these communities? And what are your plans to make adequate 50% faculties in IIT Delhi? Now, of course, it's a sensitive topic, and therefore I would not expect any one of you to really get into any controversy at this stage by responding to it. But at the same time, I would like to mention it very categorically that Institute is really seized with this matter. They are aware of this situation. I think alumni also are equally interested in ensuring this kind of social inclusion. However, there are certain constraints when you talk about the faculties and representation of communities in the faculties, because these are institutes of eminence and therefore they have certain qualifying considerations. While I mentioned this, I also must say that Alumni Association has only advisory role in certain issues. We can only help the institute in terms of finding out the opinion from the alumni. We can channelize their aspirations and expectations towards say institute. However, we do not have any direct role to play in this particular say issues or this particular territory. So while we are aware of this, I would say that we certainly maintain a certain distance when it comes to policy guidelines which institute has to follow. So having said this, I must thank all of you. I would request you to write down your ideas. If you wish to, you can write to any one of us, and we would love to pursue wherever it is feasible to take this idea forward. I repeat, even if you are not part of the EC, you can champion your idea even from outside the EC, and the executive committee would be very happy to support. Thank you very much, all of you, once again. Best wishes to all of you. Let the best people win. And with this, I hand it over back to you, Natasha. Does anybody want to say anything by any chance?
Yeah, I would like to appreciate what Natasha has done. She has done played a role to the hilt of a very good moderator.
I must add that she is doing it despite having recovered from an illness, and that's really remarkable. I agree. Thanks, Natasha, once again.
Thank you, Natasha, and thank you, Kalpin. Great stuff for the and for me, it's the first time getting an opportunity on the soap opera. I think it's a very nice soapbox. It's a very good idea, and putting it live on Facebook for perpetuity. Also, the ideas remain there. Very good idea, and very good opportunity to hear other colleagues who are participants on this. Everybody has some good ideas. Excellent. Thank you very much.
I think I will just like to add what Kalpin has said here. I think there was some WhatsApp message also on that about the ECs working and all those things here. See, we are because there was some bad campaign also.
Sir, if you could just turn on your video, it would be great to
okay.
as well.
There was an incident when something bad was said about the people who are campaigning it here. See, we are here to contribute here. It doesn't matter whether this is not the last election I'm fighting. I may be again fighting it next year if I don't come in. And this is not the only avenue which is available to us to make contribution. If you want to contribute, you just have to walk in and share our ideas with the EC, share with ideas with other colleagues. And I'm sure if we just do that, we can really take our institute to the next level here. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Can I add something?
Definitely, please.
Yeah. So I just want to make it here. I am associated with some of the executive members like Dr. Gitanjali, Updesh Verma, and I keep giving some kind of contribution through Alumni Association to the public. Like recently, we were part of the Science Day team, and we had a very good lecture. But I would like to request all the alumni through this platform, whoever is listening, please attend those lectures, whatever people are trying to do, so that we can get really good participation. That day when I saw Dr. P.V. Sharma lecture was going on, very less attendees were there. So I will request everyone, please attend if such kind of reports are being made by the executive committee member. And it's not that whether I will be part of EC member or not, what idea I had, and I would like to see those kind of things should be implemented. It will help really our students to make feel, yes, I am IITian, like that it should be. So if they will get really good environment, good factory knowledge, and good kind of support from our alumni as well as faculty member, those kind of people will go outside and talk about IIT, and that will really give the branding to our IIT Delhi. Thank you.
So Kalpen, our very best wishes for a very, very successful stint as president of Alumni Association.
Thank you. Thank you.
And may we hope you add to the glitter of Alumni Association.
Fantastic.
Kalpen.
Sorry, guys. I had I went into inside a tunnel, so obviously the network went off. I could not. But I think I had said what I wanted to. And thank you very much for all the opportunity to be here and say everything. And it's I think just around the comment you made that very few people attend when events are done. Unfortunately, the global situation is like that, that any event, any product, be it a marketing product or event or a lecture, which is a product, if it's not marketed well, done well, the best of the best product doesn't attract. I know because I am doing many ICCR events, top Bharatanatyam artist comes and perform. And if we do not people, 20 people in the audience, whereas in India, there might be like 10,000 people, 20,000 people, so anywhere, anything, any event, marketing is really the key. Unfortunately, that's the situation. Even if we have to get funds for our IIT endowment fund, we have to market it, get even amongst ourselves also. So that's the only thing I would add. But yes, I think we should all contribute in whatever way. Be a committee member or not a committee member is completely immaterial. All alumni should contribute. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in today. All the best to all the contestants. May the best person win. And thank you for sharing your manifesto. Thank you, Kalpen sir, to be there. Thanks to Ravinder sir, despite the health issues, he was there. Now I think we should close. And thank you so much. All the best, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for
And good
organizing.
night.
Good night.
Thank you. Thanks.
Stay safe.